In this video, we're taking a look at the Tuni G3 coffee grinder. On paper, it's a pretty capable but still affordable grinder. You get 64mm flat burrs, a time-based grinding system, stepless adjustment, and the choice of running it with a large hopper or as a single dose grinder with a bellows on top. I've reviewed Tuni's first generation E2 and the G1 grinder before, and today I'm using the new third generation E2 espresso machine to see how the G3 performs for espresso. I also have a G2 grinder here, and I'll do a video on that and compare these two later, so if you're interested in that, feel free to subscribe. In the box, you get the G3 grinder itself, one large hopper, and one single dose hopper with a bellows. There's a plastic dosing cup, a removable portafilter holder, a magnetic dosing ring, and a couple of cleaning brushes. In terms of design, I think it looks pretty nice. The tall tower-style shape gives it a bit of a small cafe look. The rounded outer shell is all metal with some simple decorative patterns, and it sits really well next to the E2 espresso machine on the counter. On top, the big hopper holds about 250 grams of coffee beans, and there's a small shut-off switch at the bottom. So if you want to swap beans while there are still beans inside, you can close the gate and lift off the whole hopper. Personally, I still prefer single dosing. I weigh out my dose on a scale each time, which is more accurate and stops beans from just sitting in the hopper and picking up moisture. Below that, you get the grind adjustment dial, marked with 100 reference points. Under the dial, there's a touchscreen. You have a single and a double shot button, and each one adjusts in 0.5 second steps. There are default times built in, but if you want to get precise dose, it's better to calibrate it yourself. For the first setup, weigh 18 grams of beans, see how many seconds it takes to grind, and then set that time on the panel. At the bottom is the portafilter holder. The bracket is designed to support 51, 54, and 58mm portafilters. When you use a 58mm portafilter, you need to remove the middle plastic block so it can fit in. If you use a 3-ear portafilter with a dosing ring on top, it still locks in firmly and doesn't spray grounds everywhere. With a 2-tab portafilter, it's harder to use a dosing ring comfortably. You can also remove the whole portafilter holder and grind directly into the dosing cup. There's a magnet at the bottom of the cup, so it sticks to the metal body and doesn't slide around while you're grinding. The cup is tall and sits close to the chute, which helps keep grounds from spraying out. Let's talk about grind adjustment. The G3 is stepless, which means there are no clicks when you turn the dial. This is different from the G1 and G2, which both use stepped adjustment. With the G3, you can easily make half-step or even quarter-step changes, which is very useful when you're dialing in espresso. The dial has 100 markings as a reference, and you can keep turning beyond 100 if you really want a very coarse grind, though for most home use, you probably won't need to go that far. With this dark roast that's been open for around 2 weeks, I end up at about 14 on the scale, and I still have plenty of room to go finer if I ever need to grind for lighter roasts or older beans. Next, let's open it up and take a look inside at the burrs. Like many grinders, you turn the dial all the way to the coarsest side to remove the top section. The G3 uses 64mm flat burrs. This size isn't rare anymore in home grinders, but at a little over $200, there still aren't that many options with this burr size. In theory, larger flat burrs give you higher grinding efficiency, moving more coffee through in the same amount of time, and they make it easier to get a fairly even grind distribution. Looking at the mounting points and the thickness of the burrs, it seems possible to replace or upgrade them in the future, but I haven't tried any burr swaps yet. After cleaning, put everything back together and tighten it down when the burrs just touch and it stops a little past 0, which matches the original position. Now let's look at retention. I weigh about 18.1 grams of beans in, no water spray, and grind straight through at an espresso setting. The grounds come out smoothly with very little visible static, and it takes about 12 seconds to grind an 18-gram dose, which is quite fast for a flat burr grinder. After grinding, tap the bellows a few times to clear the chute. The scale shows about 0.2 grams left behind, but if I press the bellows a bit more firmly, most of that coffee also comes out. Over several rounds, I consistently saw retention stay in that 0 to 0.2 gram range per dose. The static is well controlled. Now let's talk about how it actually pulls espresso. I ran a bunch of shots on the new 3rd generation E2 to see what the G3 can do. This E2 is quite different from my original 1st gen, both in looks and in features, and I'll save the full breakdown for another video, but so far it's been very reliable day to day. For this test, I used my usual medium dark roast. I've already dialed it in, and on the G3, I land around 14 on the dial. The flow is nice and steady. The pressure needle sits a little above the middle during the shot. The creamer is thick, and I don't really see obvious signs of channeling. In the cup, it tastes like what I expect from a solid flat burr espresso setup. The shot is balanced, with a solid body, clear sweetness, and a level of bitterness that's easy to live with. Because the grinder is stepless, it's also very easy to nudge the grind finer or coarser to chase the flavor you want without suddenly blowing out the shot time in either direction. For pour over, the G3 can handle it as well. I set the dial to a medium coarse range at around 70. The grind looks consistent overall, but you do see a few more fine particles, which is pretty normal for a flat burr grinder that's mainly tuned for espresso. I brewed a standard V60 with a coffee to water ratio of about 1:15 and a total brew time of around 2.5 minutes. The cup tastes good, with a slightly heavier body. The clarity isn't as sharp as some hand grinders that are built specifically for pour over, but it's definitely a very drinkable cup. To wrap it up, if you mainly drink espresso, this grinder gives you a wide, fine grind range, low retention in single dose use, and good shot-to-shot consistency. It can grow with you from an entry-level setup to more advanced espresso machines over time. Pairing the E2 with the G3 should cover most needs for someone who's just getting into espresso at home. If you have any questions about the grinder, feel free to leave a comment, and thanks for watching.